folks. What's going on?
Welcome to the Guns and Geeks Podcast, your home for all the guns, politics, and geek goodness you love to discuss. Brought to you by gunchannels.com and available on iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, and SoundCloud.
Wow, that's new.
Hold on. Hey, you asked for it.
I did. I like it.
I was waiting for that live button to go off. I kept was like, oh, shit, it's not going. It's not working.
Yeah, well, people are going to be freaking when they hear your entrance to my show.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm waiting on my guest tonight, James from New Bern Arms. He does own a gun shop, which means he might show or he might not. He could be busy tonight. So, you know, I ain't going to fault him for that. But in the meanwhile, if he happens to show, we'll run the show as normal. But for right now, I have some wonderful guests on here. First of all, let me introduce Night Strike. Say hello, Night Strike.
Hello, Night Strike.
Of course, he has to be a dick. And then there's just Dano, my PSA guy.
And it's just me tonight without my PSA, but I will try to think of something.
Thank God.
Oh, God. Matt, do you see what I'm working with here?
I do. I do.
God.
Now, Dano. I mean, Dano's pretty solid, but I mean, I've been dealing with Jonas for a long time now, so I know how it goes.
How does he get into everybody's show?
It's like that bad penny. It just keeps showing up everywhere.
Wow, thanks, Dano.
He is on every show on gun channels, just about.
He's the mascot. He's the gun channels mascot.
That explains it.
I thought that was Smeggy.
Well,
No.
you're the one that's on all the things. It's not me. Or not Smegs.
Leave the snowman alone.
Smeggy is the answer to every question.
And
Yes, Ellis, I know. Snowman lives matter.
Yes, snowman lives do matter, and so does everybody else's life. Now, let's see what's going on over there on the gun channel side first today, because I have not been paying attention to the chats at all so far. But that's just me, and, well, I'm an idiot. And no, you can't repeat that, Night Strike.
I won't repeat it.
It's a one-and-done cut deal. I can say it, and then it's dead.
No, not at all, but keep going.
Again, see what I have to deal with. And over on the gun channel side, hey, it's just us over here. Wonderful. So, and for some reason, it's not playing over here. Yes, it is. Okay. Yeah, there's Gary. Gary's over on the gun channel side. Dano, Night Strike. And over on YouTube.
You got a whole ton of people.
Do I?
Yes, you do.
Who do I have on YouTube?
You got Midnight Rage TM. You know, you watch out for Food Chat there. You got Gary Decker. Who else we got out there? We got Nodak Willie. We've got
Ghost is there.
Ghost Tactical out there.
Ghost. Now, some of you folks might get a surprise if you look on your gun channel's inbox. You might find a link to the show tonight. So, might want to head over there and look.
Oh my!
Yeah. We're like I said, I'm going to leave a spot open for James if he can get on, and you know, we'll do the normal show. And if not, hey, we're going to run it like we got it and have fun with it. Because, yeah, exactly, because that's what we do. We steal shit from everybody else and never give it back. Actually, that's not true. And children, if you're listening, do not steal. It's bad. It's wrong. Don't steal.
For the purpose of the podcast, so you can just steal for the podcast. So you stole my intro, and then we can say hit or miss 100 times.
Tuesday nights, 9:00.
We know when your show is. We've all plugged your show. How can you afford to buy guns for all the money you're putting out to plug your show?
I'm not. That's the problem. I'm not buying any more guns for a while.
And How much does he owe you, Matt?
Oh Lord. Let's see. Was there a hit or miss before he showed up on my channel?
There was not.
I don't think there was.
Well, there was, but still.
But I think he's always been operating under that hit or miss philosophy.
True.
Oh, okay. So he's always been hit or miss.
Yes.
And normally he's been a miss.
Oh, come on.
It's true.
Okay, next time you need me to come pick your ass up for something, I will be a miss. There you go.
Well, you know, that's fine. That's fine.
Find your own ride to Columbia next time.
Uh-huh. By the way,
He's getting a little cranky.
yeah, he stays that way. Here's a PSA announcement from me. I am working on a local two-way thing, and somebody's got an echo.
That's probably.
It's Dano.
Dear Dano. Actually, we come up with a new nickname for Dano. It's Damn Late Dano.
I'm damn on time tonight.
He is damn on time. In fact, he was here early. Give him a hand, ladies and gentlemen. I love it when he does that.
And for later, I do have a PSA a little bit later in the show.
But I am doing a local here in my county, and well, Night Strike is more than welcome to attend. Hopefully, he will. Little two-way rally, and I've decided that I'm going to do this at a local free shooting range. You know, it's just going to be a little meet and greet. Nothing major. But with that being said, I'm trying to get something a little bit bigger together for sometime the end of February, beginning of March. So we're going to see how that works out. So there you go, Night Strike. If you can show up, I would be glad to see you.
I might.
No, you might. Well, I appreciate that.
I might show up. Who knows?
I might. So that's what's going on with you. Anything new? Anything special? Anything unique?
No, actually.
Yeah, you just bought a knife.
I just bought a knife. Yeah, apparently, because of Dano.
I do what I can.
That's okay. I'm sure I've forced many people to buy guns, so at least that's what people keep claiming.
See, we are enablers around here. We enable people to, or gun enablers, as I heard it say one time. We are all gun, gear, guns, beer, pizza.
Vodka.
No coconut, damn it.
Yeah.
Or
that reminds me
sprinkles.
of the time Yankee got pissed off at it was either Moon or Pink because, you know, they made him buy a gun.
Well, let's be honest. We can all be triggered into buying a gun for just about anything. I mean, hell, my last gun I bought literally because I saw it for about 3 seconds on The Walking Dead. I went, I want one of those. So it doesn't take much.
No,
I just watched. What the fuck was that? I just watched Sunday's episode of The Walking Dead. That was freaking cool. That was freaking cool. So, I wonder how many people died from that 50 blast at the end.
And we'll see. We'll find out in about another 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Are anybody taking any bets on whether or not the king survived?
Oh, of course he does.
I don't know.
Well, the way they piled on him as soon as the shooting started, he might have got out of the way. Maybe.
He might have. Yeah.
And what about the dude from the first season showing up after all this time?
Oh, what's his face? Morales? Yeah. Well, he was gone pretty quick.
I was like,
He was on the screen for about 2 minutes before he ended up dead. So
did you see Rick's face after he got shot? He's like, no, punk. Well,
I think he was up there just to make stop people to think, who's that guy? And then by the time you remember,
I had to be reminded because I was like, wait, huh? It took me a minute, and I was like, oh. My wife was like, no, remember, isn't that the guy from the first season? And I was like, oh, yeah. Okay, fine, whatever.
Yep.
he was not a big character. He wasn't a, you know what I mean? So I that's why they brought it back, because, you know, he wasn't a big character, but he was a throwback, and so they could kill him off really quickly, and it would be this little reminder for Rick. I mean, that's kind of the point. That's what this season's going to do. That's what they're leading up to, is this whole Rick having a come to Jesus moment, you know, where he realizes that it's going to be all about, you know, making life better and not killing everybody and trying to be a better person and start a real community and that kind of thing.
Well, if you remember the first episode of this season, he kept having these. I don't know if you should call them flashbacks or flash forwards.
They're flash forwards. I know exactly what it is.
And I'm thinking what's going on is it's showing you what's happening, what's going to happen in the future. It's showing you that okay, they're going to survive all of this. They're going to get through all this.
Oh yeah.
Then
have you ever read the comics?
No, I never did.
Okay. Yeah, I've read the comics. It's a flash forward. It shows him. That's what happens is in the comics after the whole storyline of All Out War, where they finally go up against Negan full force. After that storyline, it skips forward 2 years into the future to where they've built this community up. So that's what that was. And then, you know, in the first episode, there was all those little breaks where we just kept focusing like on just Rick's face.
Yeah.
And it looked like he was all upset and all this stuff. That's what this, at least this first half of the season, I don't know what they're going to do. I'm assuming this is only going to be the first half. Before they do the flash forward, because they've already shown it in the first episode, but that's going to be towards the end of the season, because in that whole little flash, because there was what was going on right now, there was flash forward into 2 years into the future, and then there was just all these quick little cuts of him like sitting there looking like he was having a nervous breakdown, and those are scenes where he was basically deciding whether or not he's going to kill Negan. Because at the very end he said something along the lines of what is it? What did he say? Let mercy be stronger than my wrath. You know? So he's basically trying to like convince himself to have mercy and not just fucking kill him, because that's what he wants to do. He wants to kill Negan. So
well, if I'm not mistaken, in the comics, Negan doesn't actually get killed. He gets
he doesn't. They lock him up. They put him in a jail cell, which is why last season they spent so much time showing that jail cell that Morgan built.
Yeah,
that's the one he ends up in.
Yep.
They put him in prison. They lock him up for what he's done.
Yeah, and then later Rick comes and rescues him.
I've never seen The Walking Dead. What's this show about?
It's about us in the future.
When that was said.
It's about us in the future.
It's about the Marines not protecting us properly when they should have.
You know, tomorrow's the Marine Corps birthday, so
they should have aimed for the heads instead of, the vitals.
Yeah. I gotta say something, Matt. I was really proud of you on Monday night. You handled that as professionally as you possibly could.
Handled what?
Crackle.
Oh.
Okay, I've heard about this crackle thing. What happened? What happened with the crackle?
It just go. You gotta. Words can't explain it. You're gonna have to go back and honestly just watch it.
Let's put it this way: the viewers hated Crackle so much they were begging for Night Strike.
That is actually true.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Because Night Strike's the one that actually backed out so he could have a seat.
People do want me around. Figure that one out.
Well, we actually like you, Night Strike. Believe it or not.
Like you. We don't have you on the show just because we hate you. We have you on the show because we like you.
News to me.
Like, yep. Yeah. I knew that was coming.
News to me.
And on my show, there are no blue dresses. So
thank God.
But there is cat porn.
Oh.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
It's too
wrong.
Easy. It's too easy.
That was so wrong. I didn't mean it. It's
all right, Joe. We love you.
Nobody wears blue dresses on my show, damn it.
If I can put up with this kind of fucking abuse all the time, then these people who go off and shoot people have no fucking excuse.
This is true, isn't it? This is so true.
This is all I gotta say. I put up with a lot of shit. You don't see me
do.
going
I'll
off
give you
anything.
that. You do put up with a lot of shit.
Here's the thing, though, is he know, and everybody knows it's done out of love. It's done out of fun. It's not. We're not intentionally trying to piss him off. You know what I mean? We're not being like some people really are like fucking. They want to bully somebody around or whatever. We do it because we're just fucking around with a friend.
What is this?
We're trying to intentionally piss somebody off.
What is this man love thing of which you speak?
Yeah, I'm still wondering that one too.
It's there. It's a thing. It's real.
Jealous, Dan? I think
that's a different channel on Night Strikes Porn Tube.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Man love.
Man love.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Man love. Brought to you by Jonas.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Are we ready for a serious topic, or you want to keep rolling?
I think we better just keep rolling.
Okay, because I actually do have PSA tonight. If you're up,
go for it. Do it.
PSA
all right.
time.
Tonight's public service announcement is that of excuse me, just screwed it up right out of the box. everysecondmatters.us, and it is a group / website of information about national as well as state organizations, and promoting Second Amendment awareness is their primary aim. And what I wanted to highlight tonight, and I'll go ahead and put it the link over in the gun channel section. So if you, Mr. Hatfield, if you could put that over on YouTube, so people can go over there and take a little look at that.
You post it.
It's over. Yep, I posted it over on Gun Channels.
You know, it would be a lot easier, Ellis, is if you just made Dano a mod so he can post it himself.
I did it.
I think
Dano
is a mod.
Oh,
and then you see a oh, I didn't know that.
I did it.
Over on that section, and the link I put there, you'll see a series that over 45 of the 50 states also have Second Amendments in their state constitutions. And I am, from this point forward, barring changes in the news and things that are actively happening, I am going to highlight each of those 45 states' Second Amendment organization. And tonight we will start with Illinois. So if you're interested in Illinois or interested in checking out what Illinois has to offer in regards to gun rights, go to IllinoisCarries.com.
That shouldn't take long.
Okay, thanks for the help. It's always appreciated. But yes, IllinoisCarry.com is a website, informational website I've been a part of since before we had concealed carry, and it's the tool that we use to coordinate our actions collectively. In regards to when we had over 5,000 people down at our state capitol, talking to our senators and talking to our representatives, that was organized through that organization, not through the NRA. And this is not NRA bashing. This is just simply saying that you can't expect the NRA to do everything for you, which is why you should be more than a member of just, let's say, one national rights organization. You should also be a member of your state organizations as well, because the fight takes place at your local capital as well as our national capital. So check out your state, check out your state's gun rights organizations. And next week we will begin with Alabama. And that is the public service announcement for this week. Mr. Hatfield.
Well, I appreciate that. And that was actually pretty good information.
Yeah.
I bet most people don't realize that their state probably has its own little Second Amendment thing going on.
Yep, it sure does.
South Carolina's, I
fact,
know that one off the top of the head. It's Article 1, Section 20.
And it says
26.
In
Alabama? Oh,
No.
Alabama says
Yeah.
that every citizen has the right to bear arms in defense of himself and the state. Article 1, Section 26.
That's,
I like that.
It's Alabama.
What is South Carolina, Jonas?
Article 1,
Not
Section
that-
20. And it is, it's basically a Second Amendment.
It-
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. There you go.
Cool deal. What's Arkansas on Solid Ghost? Do you know?
Well, you know, the reason I put that link out there was so people who are curious could look it up.
Well, thank you. But see, I'm lazy, and you know, I have you guys for that.
Okay.
I just gotta say, I just went over there and I was checking out the website, and because I've been meaning to get an Every Second Matters T-shirt, and somebody needs to have
But the knife was more important.
and somebody needs to get with G-Webs. He only has it available in fat boy sizes. Why is that?
Oh,
I wear a large, not an extra large or a 2XL or a 3XL. I wear just a regular large, and it's not available in that size. This is just wrong.
If you started down in some serious protein powder and started doing some squats, I bet you could like buff up to.
Yeah, I'm not for a T-shirt.
eat more cheeseburgers.
I need that. I like Whataburger too much for that shit.
Eat more cheeseburgers. That's the solution.
Oh, God. Look at the YouTube chat.
Heading that way. Let's see what's going on.
Uh-oh.
George Grease and Cat. We're talking about cats. Okay.
Yeah.
Did somebody say cat? Okay.
Thanks, Matt.
No more.
Thanks.
We do not abuse cats around here. I just want to get that out in the public right now. Cats are cool. So leave the cats alone, damn it.
Yeah, but you know, if somebody could get with G-Webs about the sizes on his shirt and just kind of help me out.
Well, I tell you what, if G-Web's on, I will invite him in here so you and him can hash this.
Do that because I could really use somebody to help me out.
Me out. We're gonna help me out. G-Webs don't seem to be on, but if he was on,
by the way, I did try to post a link over on the YouTube side, and it didn't allow me because I'm not a moderator.
You're not a moderator on the YouTube side. Well,
no, I don't need to be a moderator. I'm just letting you know.
Let me hold on. Let me find you here.
The only reason I mentioned is because I asked you to post some of those things.
Well, here's the thing. Night Strike took care of it because that's just what Night Strike does. He takes care of shit.
Yeah, figure that one out. And Matt, all I have to say in response to your bad pun.
I don't think it was bad. I thought it was hilarious.
All I have to say, Matt, is meow's not the time.
God. Cat lives matter, Gary Decker says. You know, hey, Midnight's in here. We could talk about cats.
Oh, God. No, wrong context.
Chinese food, maybe?
Oh, God. No, let's not go there.
Kung Pao cat.
I had Chinese food for lunch.
A couple of times in the last week, I imagine.
No, just today.
I know you had Chinese Sunday.
Yeah, I know. I did too. I was there with you.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Damn.
I had In-N-Out Burger Sunday. By the way, not all it's cracked up to be.
Okay, what is an In-N-Out burger? Define this.
Apparently it's from California, I guess.
Well, that's the problem right there.
West Coast burger chain, maybe. I don't know. I think either them, like, there's like them and Five Guys, right? I don't know where either one of them are from, honestly.
Yeah. There's a Five Guys.
In-N-Out, Five Guys, and Carl's Jr. are all California-based.
They're all West Coast, yeah.
Five Guys.
Carl's Jr. I don't like. I'm not a fan of Carl's Jr. I've never liked them. I tried Five Guys. Five Guys pretty good, but ridiculously expensive. Like it's too expensive to. I mean, really, they're good burgers, but they're not good enough for that.
Yeah, it's like a Starbucks price. Except even more.
Yeah. And
like
In-N-Out Burger is good. The burgers are good. The fries and the milkshakes suck. The burgers are good. They're not fantastic. Like I'd still rather have a Whataburger. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
they're
Oh,
they're good.
absolutely.
They're good, but it's the same price as Whataburger. But a Whataburger, I get better fries and better milkshakes, and I can also get all kinds of other stuff. And so, yeah, that's the first time I tried In-N-Out Burger, and I was not impressed.
Okay, the next time I head out west, I've got to find one of these Whataburger places.
You've never had a Whataburger?
No, there's none around here.
Oh my god.
Delicious.
I miss Whataburger.
Heaven on a bun.
Yeah. The thing about it is, around here we have Five Guys, we have Steak and Shake.
Yeah.
Steak and Shake's not bad. You have Rallies?
Steak and
Yeah, we got Rallies. Yeah.
Rallies is pretty good too.
Sonic's good. I love Sonic.
They don't. I don't think.
I don't like Sonic.
I don't know if
like
they're
Sonic?
Rallies or Checkers. It's one of the two. Now.
Sonic's
How about
okay.
their burgers?
Sonic's better for like hot dogs and shit.
Yeah. I love their hot dogs or mozzarella
Yeah.
sticks and all that. Just their burgers are just.
Their burgers are
It's
sloppy.
not bad. It's just, but it's not. I mean,
Like
you don't go when you want a burger. You don't go, "Ooh, let's hit Sonic." You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's like, oh, there's only a gas station in town and a Sonic. I guess we're going to Sonic.
yeah. Now, if I want a good, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. If I want a good foot-long hot dog, then I'm gonna go to Sonic.
It's the best. He's Coney.
Yeah, Coney dog.
Okay.
Or whatever.
We have Checkers here in South Carolina, but it's basically
cheese dogs,
Rallies.
stuff like that. Then that's
Do
then
you
you
ever-
go to Sonic. But for a burger, not
Okay.
A couple years ago, the Sonic had those pretzel dogs.
Yeah,
Dogs
those
in the
were
pretzel
awesome.
buns.
I don't think I ever
Oh,
tried
those
those.
are so good. If you like pretzels, they're awesome.
If you want a good hot dog and you're ever in Atlanta, there ain't but one place to go, and it'll be the best hot dog you ever had in your life. Go to the
I
Varsity.
doubt that.
Go to the Varsity.
The Varsity, definitely the Varsity.
That will be the best hot dog.
I've
you've
had a
ever
hot
had.
dog in Wrigley Field in Chicago. That's probably the best hot dog I'll ever have.
I doubt it.
When I was
doubt it.
living in Kennesaw, I went to the Varsity more than a couple times. Their burgers are good. Their hot dogs are delicious. They got good food. Period. Everything there is good. Period.
Best hot dog I ever had, I made.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You know what I like to do? I like to go get the big pack of the Oscar Mayer skinless sausage. And you cut one of those bad boys in half, and you make a hot dog out of that.
Ooh.
You get yourself some. I like to use some of the sriracha ketchup and some onions and some cheese, and you cook that bad boy on the stove. Cut it in
got a
half.
question for you,
Throw
Matt.
that in a bun. That's a sausage dog right there. It's the best damn hot dog you
Damn
ever
it,
had.
man! I'm hungry now.
Without a skin on it, what holds it together?
What?
What?
We have
That's
moved past that.
casing.
You know
It's
that,
not
right?
Skin.
The casing. You know what I'm saying? Casing. It's the caseless, skinless, whatever they call it. You know how a lot of the sausages they have the
Right,
stuff. Well,
but
you
that's
get the
what
skinless
holds it.
version.
Holds its shape. Otherwise, it would just fall apart.
Well, because the hot dogs don't come in cases anymore either,
Hey, somebody else jumped
and they
in.
manage to hold their shape.
It's been a while since I inspected a hot dog closely enough to tell you.
Yeah,
Ladies and gentlemen,
they're all like
our
that now.
guest has arrived. James, how you doing, buddy?
Man, I am so sorry. We had a lost cat, and I had to hunt down a ledger to find a cat, if you believe that. And then, in all the mayhem, it slipped my mind. I looked down; it was 8:09. I was late, so I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's fun. Like I told the audience at the beginning that you were a busy guy. You owned your own shop, and you were always working. So you might be late, or you might not show it out. And we're good with that.
Well,
I
I
made
wouldn't
lunch
have
here.
been good with that. I'm so sorry, and I apologize for being late.
Well, I appreciate that, and we're glad to have you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is James from New Bern Arms in Alcoa, Tennessee. He owns a little shop there. I've been in there several times. I don't know if he actually remembers me or not, but I've actually bought guns from your shop when I was living there. He's one of those people. You walk into his shop, and the first thing he does is he drops everything he's doing. It's, "Hi, how you doing?" And that's a place where anybody that, especially gun guys, that's where we like to go. That's where we like to shop. James, what's going on with you, buddy? How are you tonight?
I'm doing really well, and I might not remember you by name, but if we went into talking about the guns, I might remember those.
Let's see. The first one I bought was I think it was a SAR 9mm full size. This has been several years back.
So you probably brought that from Johnny Giles, right?
Yeah, yeah. You were there. I talked to you too.
Okay. Man, Johnny Giles. Let's see. I don't. My brother and I bought the store from Johnny Giles officially in September of last year. So we've had it just over a year. So I was associated with the store before that, but I just didn't. I was still learning exactly Johnny's trade. Hey, my son has joined me here, so
more the merrier, man.
Anyhow, give me 1 second. I'm going to kiss my son goodnight.
Okay, that's fine. You go right ahead.
You going to bed, Buckaroo?
Yeah, but I don't need to read my story.
Matthew, I can't read your story right now. I can't. Mommy can read your story. Uncle Jai can read your story. How's that? Yeah, okay. All right. I love you. Good night. I'm sorry about that, everybody.
You have no reason to apologize to any of us. We've all been there with our own kids or nephews or nieces or something.
No, yeah, to apologize for something like that is ridiculous. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. We normally read a story every night, and I forgot to warn him in advance that I had this going on. I couldn't do that tonight. But.
Well, James, let me introduce you who all's in here. This was supposed to be just a one-on-one thing, but since you was late, I went ahead and invited a few friends of mine. This is Trey, Ghost Tactical. He runs a YouTube channel, and he's an ex-Marine. Say hi, Ghost.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good. How you doing, Trey?
I'm living the dream.
There's my public service guy, Dano.
Yep, literally just Dano because it's just me. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
The next guy you've probably heard about, or maybe even caught in some of his videos, it's Never Enough Ammo, Matt.
What's up?
Hey,
yeah,
Matt.
No, not everybody's heard of me. It's okay.
I don't know how to say this, but he's kind of a big deal.
Kinda.
I miss Hype Man.
Apparently.
And then there is the great and wonderful Night Strike.
How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. You gonna keep the other part out?
Which part is that?
I'm asking Ellis. Ellis, you got to keep the other part out.
Which other part? Oh, my cousin?
Yeah.
He is my cousin. And if I wouldn't have reminded you of that, he would have. I'd never heard the end of it. We have a name for that where I come from. But we're not getting into it right now. But this is some of the guys I hang out with over on gunchannels.com. And you ought to check that out sometime, James. It's a great bunch of guys. Anyway, so you've been in the shop for what, a couple of years now?
No, I've been in the shop I've been in the shop about a year and a half now.
Now you put on this. He puts on YouTube or Facebook shows every morning. One's basically an informational show. You know, he goes through different tactics and this, that, and the other, and it talks about certain guns. And then later on in the day, he does what he calls fun with knives. I love fun with knives. Fun with knives is like one of the highlights of my day. And you know how'd you come up with that?
Well, it's not my idea, and very few of the good ideas are mine. Actually, I usually get these from somebody else. And I was at a trade. I was at the Chattanooga. Anybody know? You guys know Chattanooga Shooter Supply down in Chattanooga? I was at their dealer show last year, and this guy named Tiny. So you can imagine his size. I'm a fairly large human being, and he's twice my size. He sat down with me, and I told him we were buying a gun store, and this is what we were doing. And he said, "Oh, here's what you have to do. You need, every time you get a shipment in," he goes, "you need to open it live on Facebook." I looked at him. I said, "What?" And he goes, "Absolutely. Every time you get a shipment in, get your phone out, hold it up, open it live on Facebook. I said, I don't know. And he goes, dude, he goes, I just started doing it in my shop. And he goes, everybody's going nuts over it. So I started doing it. And the first couple times I did it, I was just, I don't know about this. And people started coming in going, oh, man, that was great. That was great. When are you going to do another one? And it just turned into a thing. And I don't even remember where I got the term fun with knives. But I'm a big fan of that TV show, The Big Bang Theory. And I remember that Sheldon doing his fun with flags. And I thought, well, this is just stupid. So maybe I think I was thinking maybe I'll just call this fun with knives. And, because it's going to be silly anyways. And it just turned into a thing, I guess.
Well, it's a thing that works because I love it, dude. I love it. And today he opened up a SIG, and I like to have a heart attack. Want one of those. Want one of those.
You and me both.
What are you carrying these days, James? I know you mentioned it.
I float between 3 guns. Most of the time I have one of the Rex 01s on my hip, and then my second most common carry is a Paraordnance Expert Commander in 45, and then I just can't get away from good old Glock 19.
Yeah, there's a lot of these Glock fans out there. I just not one of them.
That's because it's the greatest gun ever built.
Well,
I had to say it.
That's debatable.
It's very debatable.
The Rex is one I'm wanting. Man, I love that gun. It is a gorgeous piece, and about half the price of a SIG.
Yeah, and I was the biggest skeptic there ever was before I started handling that gun. And I was like, you can't tell me this thing. I mean, this thing just hit the market. You can't tell me this thing's a great quality gun. I said, I've been in and out of the gun business for 24 years now. And I think I know a quality gun when I see it. The first thing I said when I saw it, I said, SIG clone. And the guy who was showing it to me kind of got a little irritated at me. He's not a SIG clone. And I said, looks like a SIG clone to me. And so I got to play around with a couple of the prototypes that they were doing, the testing that they were doing, because they did it actually here in Blount County. The road rep lives here. The sales director lives here. And so I got to play with one of the prototypes a little bit. And I was like, okay, this shoots nice. I get it. I kind of dig it. And then I saw, and many of you have, the video that Military Arms Channel did.
Yeah, and Mac is a good guy, and that's what he's carrying now. And the torture test he did on the one that he's carrying, he beat that poor gun to death.
Yeah, and when I saw that, I did a little bit of my own playing around with it, and I said, okay. I said, they say they built a better mousetrap, and to my knowledge, they have built a better mousetrap.
So let me ask you, you being a gun shop owner and around them all day, which one gun has ever come into your shop that you're like, oh, I might not want to sell this one. I might just want to keep this one for myself?
That happens. It actually happens a lot. And
I can imagine.
There's a couple of them that really get me. And I keep saying the next one that comes in is mine. And that's I don't know why. I have an affinity. I love the Russian M44 Mosin Nagant. And I don't have the M44 right now. I got 9130. So I say, okay, the next one that comes in is mine. The other that gets me is the SIG P6 or the old 225. Not the new 225, but the old 225 or the P6. Those get me. And then I would say pre-lock Smith & Wesson revolvers kind of get me.
Yeah, there's a guy in the room with us here that he's a big Nagant fan, aren't you, Matt?
Oh yeah, I love those things. I've been a long time fan of those for, good God, at least the last decade or so.
Well, they're great rifles. They are absolutely wonderful rifles.
I mean, they have become a little cost prohibitive, as it were, in my opinion, for the what you get out of them. That's my only issue is in the last 3 years or so. They I mean, I used to buy them all the time for $80. Back when I first started on YouTube, you could still buy them for $80. And all the way up. Once they start floating past the $200 mark, then you really have to start making for a usable rifle, right? Like not for just collector's purposes, because I still love them for that. But you have to start then deciding, okay, $200 up. Now they're going for around 250, give or take. Well, at 260, I can get a modern rifle. I can get a Savage Axis, or I can get a Remington 783, or one of the Mossberg Patriots, or something like that. You can start getting those for just literally a $20 bill more, and you can get them in modern calibers that you don't have to hunt down and that kind of thing. You don't have to look for old spam cans or anything like that. So it depending on what you want to do with it. If you just want one for collection purposes, then they're awesome. And I've still got mine. But I used to dig them a lot because of the fact that it was just a really, really cheap, usable rifle, and they've kind of gone up from there. So now they're primarily, for me, they've turned into collector's rifles more than anything else.
Yeah. They're pretty simple. They're not. There's nothing to them.
Oh yeah, they're great. I love them. They are my favorite Milsurp rifle.
So, Jim, what has been, over the years, regardless of whether it's your current shop or one of the places you've worked with in the past, would you say has been one of the most over-the-top firearms, whether it be a long gun or a pistol or whatever, that you've had the fortune or misfortune of coming in contact with?
Over the top, you mean over the top fantastic?
I'll let you define what that means to you.
Well, I will never forget. I used to know a Glock rep. I mean, it's back when I first started in the gun business back in 91 or 2 or something like that. His name was Doug Kennerson, and he was the Glock law enforcement rep. And he walked into the store that I was working at in Sparks, Nevada, called Reno Gunworks, and introduced himself. And we got to talking a little bit. And he looked at me and he goes, "You want to shoot a Glock 18?" And I said, "What's a Glock 18?" And he looked at me like I had 3 heads, and he goes, "Hang on a second, I'll be right back." That Glock 18 was about the most absurd thing, and no practical purpose whatsoever, in my opinion. But I tell you what, that's probably one of the biggest kicks I've ever got shooting a gun. And I got to shoot it quite a bit after that, but the Glock 18, I would have to say.
Now, I'm assuming that at some point with practice that there is some way to be able to manage it, because I myself, I can't think of how one would, keep it other than just spray and pray.
Yeah, when he handed it to me, he said, "Hold it like you would a 12-gauge shotgun." And so I said, "Okay, no problem." And so I got real strong in my modified Weaver stance, but I didn't lock my strong hand elbow. And I ripped the trigger back on that thing, and I mean, it just started stitching rounds. And the first one went right where it was aimed, and I mean, it just started stitching rounds up into the ceiling tiles in the indoor range that we had. And it stopped at about 45, 50 degree angle. I mean, it climbed hard and fast. And he was just roaring behind me. And he said, "No, you dummy. Hold it like you would a shotgun." So now what I did next was I locked my arm. Okay. And yeah, after we did about, I don't know, 5 or 6 magazine dumps, it got to where you could actually, at 7 yards, you might be able to hold a 12 to 16-inch group with it, maybe. And I mean, that's after a ton of practice and good luck. I don't know. I don't know. I still don't think it's practical, but I do think it's a whole lot of fun.
Now, in your videos that you've put on Facebook, I've noticed a definite reoccurring theme with you telling people, get out there, get trained, or come into the shop, and I'll show you how to do this, how to do that. Uh, Tell them how, giving them suggestions on. In fact, you made a video this morning on suggested calibers for concealed carry. Great video, by the way. What got you into that part of it?
I like to help people. I like to. I get the questions all day long. What do you think I should? What caliber do you think I should use for personal protection? And people come in and they tell me these horror stories of going into gun stores and asking for something, and somebody saying, "Oh, you don't want that. You don't know what you're talking. You need to go educate yourself." And so I kind of feel bad for those individuals, and I want to help. So that's kind of where that comes from, is the desire to want to help educate people and teach them. And sometimes people are just, no matter how much you try to encourage them to do something that's more tactically sound, they just can't overcome a certain obstacle. So in that case, I want to help them make the best decision that they can with what they're willing to use. So I just, I remember when I first started shooting, I thought I was hot stuff. And it took my first instructor's name's Steve Wilson, and he was a former Marine. And he said, "Okay, fine, kid, let's go out here on the range and let's see what you got." And he showed me that I didn't have a clue. So it took me down a few notches, and it just kind of showed me that you got to start somewhere. And nobody was born with a gun in their hand. And people who come in who don't know need to be taught and educated, not belittled.
I agree with that statement wholeheartedly, and that's the thing. And I've been in gun stores and I've seen it myself. I've never worked in one, but there's always this husband-wife team that comes in. The wife's wanting a gun, wanting a concealed carry, and the husband's just constantly, well, look at this one, or look at this one, or this will be good for you. He's not even taking into consideration that what does she like, what's going to fit her. Because to me, a gun is like a hat. You've got to find the one that fits you, not somebody else's suggestion.
Yeah, we see that all the time too. And I have people very frequently come in and they say, "Well, I'm shopping for a gun for my wife." And I say, "Well, I try to dig a little bit more information, and eventually I try to get to the point of, hey, is there any way you think you could bring her in and let her take a look at some of these?" Most of the time I get a positive reaction from that. Very rarely do I have somebody say, "Oh, I just need to pick one for her."
Yeah, that's always been one of those things that got on my nerve. If you're buying a gun for somebody, let them hold it, feel it, pick it up, handle it a little bit, rent it from some gun shop, fire a few rounds through it, and make sure it's what you want. Because if you get it home and you don't shoot it, if you don't use it, if you don't carry it, it's doing you no good.
I had that happen to me just today. I had a customer that bought a gun from us a year ago and brought it back today and said, it's not at all what I wanted. I didn't, I fired it one shot through it and I don't like this gun. And you're absolutely correct. People should go to the range. They should get some training. They should rent them, borrow one from a friend, anything like that. And it's well advised to try to prepare themselves a little bit for what they're about to get into.
Yeah, because like I said, a gun is not a one size fit all deal. It just, it's a very personalized thing. And when you stop to think, oh, this is something that could potentially save my life or the life of my family, it needs to be right for you. And you have to be able to first shoot it accurately. And second, know how to take care of it after the fact. Once you do shoot it, how to take it apart, clean it, learn these things.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
So undoubtedly it's going to come up, James, because, well, this audience is gun crazy and they love to buy guns and we're all gun enablers. which means we'll always talk somebody into buying a gun. Do you do any online sales at all?
Yeah, we do plenty. We'll do any. Absolutely. We're trying to get all of our inventory up on Gun Broker. That's a difficult task to maintain that. Um, and right now, I don't have an online inventory listing on our website, but soon, and I keep saying this soon, we'll be able to be to reflect our suppliers' inventory on our website, and that's what you see a lot of these guys do when they have these huge inventories online. Usually, that's linked to their suppliers like RSR and Sports South and and the whatnot. So most people's inventory, they don't usually have 13 Ruger Mark IVs sitting in stock.
Um, well, like I said, I know this audience, and they will come and check you out. And I'm going to tell you, he's got decent prices. And if I'm not mistaken, you do custom orders all the time. This through Davidson's, right?
But yeah, through Davidson's, we're on Gallery of Guns, and I think locally, at least, anyways, I'm the cheapest on Gallery of Guns. Maybe even regionally, I don't know. I try to be very, very competitive, and if people have if they have a question on a gun, especially if I'm shipping it out of state, they don't pay any sales tax. So sometimes I can be really competitive compared to what somebody may be seeing locally. None of my guns in my store, almost none. Let me rephrase that. Almost none of my guns in my store are priced at MSRP. Almost all of them are priced well below MSRP.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, when I decide to actually want to pull the trigger on one of those Chris Vectors, all I gotta do is get a hold of you.
All you got to do is get a hold of me.
Anybody here will tell you that I'm obsessing about a Chris Vector. I want one of those badly.
So I got a question, another follow-up question here for Jim. Jim, what would you say from your perspective are some of the near-term and maybe long-term issues for small shops like yours?
Well, I'd say our biggest issue, I would say, is we trying to stay competitive. As a small shop, one of the things that you really need is you need profit margin, and it's very difficult to gain profit margin on a firearm. So one of the things that we struggle with is, okay, what firearms do we carry? We try to stock things that maybe our big box stores don't have a lot of, and then we try to stock some accessories that maybe other competitors around us don't have, that will still interest people and people still need. So it's kind of trying to find that slice of the pie that we can still be competitive on, yet retain profit margin on.
In what areas, generally speaking, do you tend to move the most inventory in?
In this particular area, our largest moving sector is the compact concealed carry market. Things like the Smith & Wesson Shield or the LCP or Glock 19s. Anything in that kind of size category is usually a hot item. And what coming on strong recently, and probably with the same with any other market, is CZs are extremely popular right now. Their pistols are.
What about in regards to accessories? Because I mean, guns. I kind of make an assumption here that kind of like McDonald's, they don't make much on the burgers, but they make a little bit more profit percentage on some of the other things that surround the burgers. So when I think of a gun shop, I think they're really not making that much on the guns. They're probably making the money they need to survive on some of the other things that surround the guns. So what types of accessories do you find are more successful for you in your area?
Holsters, definitely holsters. Of course, ammunition, but holsters are probably one of the biggest opportunities to recover a little bit of that profit margin, in my opinion. But it's a two-edged sword because there are a ton of holsters out there, and you have to pick the right ones. So finding what people are really wanting and what's really popular and what you can definitely represent with pride as a quality piece of merchandise is, I've got I've got half a wall full of holsters, and it's difficult even for. I would say I'm not bad at it, but it's difficult to find exactly what the hot spot is because it's a moving target sometimes.
Yeah, I was asked earlier today when I was telling people that you were going to be on the show tonight. They go, what kind of stuff does he sell in his shop? I said, well, I've been in his shop, and he's got a little bit of anything and everything in there. And I've seen him with scarves. Didn't you have an ACR in there recently?
Yeah, I did. I had a Bushmaster ACR, and actually, I like the ACR better than I like the Scar 16, but that's beside the point. We did have an ACR in there.
Yeah. And, he's got AKs, ARs, about any kind of shotgun you want. In fact, you just got a shipment of the Mavericks in, didn't you?
Yeah. We try to I keep those Mavericks in. It's a very good, it's a quality base shotgun, if you will, just for something for a good home defense closet gun or something like that. So we try to keep those in stock.
Yeah, they are good shotguns. I used to own one. Well, at this point in time in the show, James, we normally turn it over to the audience for questions. So if any of you folks have any question for James or about his store, feel free to ask. I mean, that's why we're here. What's the most disappointing thing about the gun industry today? And that's from Midnight Range TM.
Well, boy, that's a great question. I was gonna say that's a tough question, but that's a great question. Disappointing thing about the gun industry today is I would say the bad press that we get from what I would consider very liberal or left-leaning organizations. It's not, the vast majority of gun owners are safe gun owners. The vast majority of guns are never used in any violent fashion. There is a lot of practical use for a firearm, even in a recreational sense, and even the guns that they characterize as evil. So I would say that's probably the most disappointing thing that I would say in the industry, see in the industry.
Let's see. Let me scroll up here. Let's see. I googled New Bern Arms and found a website, location Alcoa, Tennessee. Is that him? That would be it. Yes.
That's
it's behind.
me.
It's behind West Chevrolet.
Yeah, I'm directly behind West Chevrolet.
There's also a question out on YouTube from Cycle Camp. Excuse me, on Gun Channels from Cycle Camp. He says, does James carry Class 3 items?
Absolutely. We are a Class 3 dealer. Most of what I have as far as Class 3 is concerned would be silencers and suppressors. But I can get, any of the short-barreled rifles they're looking for. I don't have any machine guns or full autos in stock. I'd be happy to try to find some if somebody's looking for some.
Well, let's see if there's any more questions over on the YouTube side. And you're welcome, Gary. I just made Gary a mod, so I know he's happy. Let's see. Well, I don't see any more questions. Come on, guys. You let me down here. Face it. Nobody's. I wonder whose face he's talking about, Phoenix. James, what are you planning on expanding or anything anytime soon?
Well, yeah, we're actually a pretty fast-growing store, and we'd like to. There's a lot of things we'd like to do eventually, including, but not limited to, a small range. I would say the plans are in the works, but don't expect anything anytime soon. And it certainly isn't going to be a big thing, but we're working on it. And then, of course, we're built to expand the showroom too. But I think the showroom's going to stay the size it is for a little while, anyways.
No, like I said, it's a great shop, folks. If you're in the East Tennessee area and you want a decent shop to buy a decent gun, talk to James. If he can't help you out, nobody can. You know, the thing about it is, and especially with the political environment we're in right now, man, I can imagine the headaches you do have.
Yeah, it's. I would say that we're a lot better off this year than we would have been, a year and a half
Otherwise,
ago if we were in the same boat. So under BHO, we would have been in a pretty miserable time right now, and I'm very, very grateful that we have a new administration that is not hostile in and of itself towards the Second Amendment.
yeah, you're right. If the other party would have won, we would be in a lot of trouble right now. But folks, let me make one thing perfectly clear. Just because we have our guy in the White House, and grant you, we don't have to agree with everything he says, but he is pro-gun. But now is not the time to sit back and relax and say, well, let's stay calm because we got our guy in the White House. Now's the time we really need to step up our game and get some laws passed in our favor, because in 3 years from now, there's no telling who's going to be in the White House next. And if what we do now is what's going to matter then.
Yeah, and a little over a year from now, we may have a very different Congress looking at us.
Yeah, and that makes everything interesting. I mean,
right now we have an uncooperative Congress with the same party president.
Right.
And we can't seem to pass anything.
Well, like you said, now is the time to step up the game and I mean, if there ever has been a time, because it's certainly, the chances are pretty good that in maybe 2 to 4 to 8 years from now, it's going to get a lot more difficult.
It's a never-ending fight. It really is, and it shouldn't be that never-ending fight, because shall not be infringed, to quote Night Strike, who loves that particular part of the Second Amendment, means just that, shall not be infringed. And what people don't understand about that is beyond me. And and all these people that's hollering, we need to get rid of the gun shops and get rid of the, what they don't understand is that's taking food out of your mouth and other people like you. This is how you make a living. This is, but they don't understand who they're really hurting.
Yeah, I mean, most people who are willing to do something like take somebody's life are certainly not worried about how they do it. They really don't care what the means is. The object is, if they're willing to take somebody's life, then they're going to do whatever they can. And the fact that they can not get one particular implement or another just means that they're just going to go on to the next available device. I mean, they killed 86 people in Nice, France with a truck.
Yep. Well, see, that's always been my thing. And when you question them like this, it sort of makes them step back a minute and think, okay, so let's say we do exactly what you want to do. We take that move and we ban all guns. We make every gun of any kind illegal in the United States. Overnight, the knife killings rise up 500%. So what do you do then? You ban all the knives. The knives become illegal. Okay, fine. Then they start killing people with baseball bats. Well, now you have to be licensed as a baseball player to own a baseball bat. And eventually they ban the baseball bats. The only time a person can touch one is when you're actually playing baseball. And then they start killing you with sticks and rocks. You gonna outlaw sticks and rocks? Somebody wants to kill you, they'll find a way to kill you.
Ellis, going down this path is kind of fruitless because it's not a logical discussion. It's an emotional argument.
Exactly.
And that's why there will be no end to this struggle. There will always be those that emotionally feel that you can do something about the tool, and then there'll be the other portion, people that tend to think logically that it's not the tool, it's the person controlling the tool. And there'll be that philosophical difference for till time and millennia.
See, what people need to understand is, and you hit the nail on the head, the gun is a tool. The weapon is the human. It's that simple. We are the weapon, and it's just how we decide to handle situations. I have never once even thought about walking into a church and shooting it up. I have never once thought about walking into my job and shooting it up, and it takes a certain kind of evil mentality. And I will use the word evil because that's what it is. These people are evil. They're sick. To do something like that.
Yep. It's where you have the absence of good, evil will prevail.
Amen.
And whenever good stands up to evil, evil will generally flee. So I think what we need in the world is more good men raising, good children. And that's kind of the way we need to fight the evil in the world, is start it, you start when they're young.
Oh, that's the thing. If you teach things like respect, love, caring, looking out for your fellow man, to a child, and pound these lessons into him. Don't just say it once and let it go. It's let him see you do these things. It's sort of like follow the leader. Kid sees his dad working under a car. What does he do? He climbs under there with his dad. Why? Because he's a kid. He's learning. He wants to emulate what he sees his parents do. And people have no respect of life anymore. You hear these. I hate to bring up the idiots, but Antifa talking about running out and killing cops. Well, what kind of background do these kids come from where saying that you're going to kill a cop is a good idea?
Too much Grand Theft Auto.
Too much something. That is a fact. But, we can talk about it all day long, but it's going to take the parents and other sources of influence in these children's lives to get them on a proper path and thinking the correct way. And downing our president in a public school is not the way to do it.
No, I don't believe it is.
Yeah, well, but then again, I'm just a hillbilly from West Virginia. What do I know?
Oh, well, I share your sentiment precisely.
Well, James, buddy, I appreciate you being on here tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure, and I really appreciate the invite.
Hey, well, you know what? You're going to get another one in the future, so I hope you're ready for it.
I'm gladly accept, and now that I have the Hangout app, it won't take me quite as long to get back to you. So again, thank you again. I appreciate all the questions, and if anybody has any other questions, feel free to hit me up on Facebook or shoot me an email.
Well, I'm looking on YouTube right now to see if there's anything else out there, if anybody wants to know. Phoenix has threatened my life, but that's okay. He's just a blowhard. And this is normal. James, before you take off, I want everybody to listen up here because this is, important to me if it's not important to anybody else. I'm a part of a community. We call ourselves Gun Channels. And what it is a bunch of creators from YouTube and people who watch these creators, and anybody's welcome. It's a free sign up. It's gunchannels.com. Stop by there anytime you're you want to have a chat about guns or just be with like-minded individuals, we'd be happy to have you in.
Well, thank you.
We have a public chat that's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It never shuts down. And let me make this perfectly clear to everybody in the audience. This is completely free and it's open to anybody. You don't have to put out content on YouTube or Facebook or anywhere else to be a member of Gun Channels. All you have to do is show up and sign up. That's it. Dano, you got anything for us, buddy?
Nope. I think that's. I'm glad to have you here, Jim, and thanks for coming.
Thank you, Dano. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been my show for the evening. I am the Outlaw Hatfield. And once again, James, thanks, buddy. It's been great.
Good night, everybody.